Back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about why anti-gunner sheriffs are a problem and being thrown out of office on the spot, just based on the census alone is what it is. So basically, this is something that comes to us from recently here, and I was watching one of Colin Orr's videos from the last day or so, is what it was, where he was talking about what happened in Houston, Texas the other day, which is basically you had a 14-year-old home alone who had a home invader who was a homeless guy basically come into the house, or try to break into the house, is what it was. So the kid ran into, I'm not sure exactly where it was at, mom or dad's bedroom or wherever the gun safe was, basically, or where he knew a gun was going to be is what it was. I'm not sure if it was actually a gun safe or not, but he basically retrieved a gun of some kind is what it was. Went back, bang, 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 shot the guy a bunch of times is what it was. I'm not sure if he actually killed this dude or not, but the fact of the matter is, it's like, yeah, this is the problem. Again, it goes back to showing exactly what happens when you allow, millions and millions of illegal aliens into this country. I'm not saying that's what this homeless guy was, but he might have been, honestly. But that's the entire point, though, is like, when you have all these people, it still is a correlation causation thing, though, because even if this homeless person was not an illegal in this country, it still maintains the fact of you have all these Americans being put into homelessness now, having their homes taken, etc., being given to illegal aliens, or God forbid, in the worst case scenario, which is that we're seeing out of Massachusetts here recently, where you got Democrats basically bringing back slavery / indentured servitude is what it is, because they're literally housing a bunch of these fucking people who are families of illegals in this country, and then they're sitting there bragging about, oh, I have my own personal chef and stuff now. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what in the fuck, dude? It's just so retarded is what it is, dude. But anyway, so then you have Ed Gonzalez, who is a Democrat sheriff there. I don't recognize this number. Pick this up real quick. I'm not sure who the hell it is. Doesn't come up in the phone book, so I have no idea. Usually, if you actually put the numbers in there for the number that's calling you, it usually will pop up in the thing of like, oh, this is who this person is, or whatever the case be. And yeah, it didn't show me that, so I have no idea who the fuck that was. Let's see what the message here or not. Nothing yet. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah. That's fucking funny. So apparently, I got an email this morning from Ohio Gunners, what it was here, and they were talking about dipshit Frank LaRose surveying 100% pro-gun. Like, who cares, dude? The guy's gonna, like, here's the fucking thing about Frank LaRose, dude. This motherfucker's gonna say anything he wants to get elected into office. Hell, he's been a sitting Secretary of State right now in Ohio for the last, 6 years. Hasn't done a damn thing at this point to actually, call out Sherrod Brown and do anything to arrest Sherrod Brown for the Democrat cheat that he committed in 2018, which is provably election fraud right there in 2018 midterms by Sherrod Brown, the only Democrat to maintain a high office in that election cycle when every other fucking seat in Ohio went to Republicans. If that doesn't scream voter fraud, I don't know what fucking does, people. Seriously. Like, that alone should be an inquiry into that fucking race. And the fact you pussies haven't done that shit in 6 goddamn years right now just shows the fucking kind of corruption in the state that fucking pisses me off is what it is, dude. So yeah, fuck Frank LaRose in general, dude. The guy's a fucking sack of shit, piece of crap in general, dude. I have never voted for this asshole in my life. I will never fucking vote for Frank LaRose ever because he's such a fucking douchebag is what it is. He's one of these I'm a military vet fucking guys. It's like, I'm a military vet, but I've been in the fucking office for like 15 fucking years now, whatever the fuck it is, even more. Maybe be longer than that now I'm thinking about it, because I know he was in our state senate. I think he was in our state house too, if I'm not mistaken, at one point back in the 90s or early 2000s, someplace in there. So yeah, the motherfucker's been in power for like close to 20 years, basically, if not around 20 years, honestly, now at this point, and is going to sit there and has an actual track record, by the way, of random votes for stuff in the General Assembly. You know, half a decade or more now in the Secretary of State's office, but yet when he's doing campaign commercials for this upcoming Senate race, here's what it is. He wants to bitch and moan about like, oh, I'm a military veteran and you should vote for me because I'm a military veteran kind of shit. And it's like, bro, you have a literal established track record of random things you have done, supposedly for the state of Ohio, in the fucking thing, yet you're not going to run on the actual things you helped get passed or, you know, whatever the case be there. Or do a Secretary of State or whatever the case be. And you know why you're not going to do that, Frank LaRose? Because a lot of the shit you've done is fucking shady as fuck, bro. Legitimately. And I'm calling your ass on that one just based on the fact I'm a default Republican voter at this point because you fuckers took away my ability to become a third-party voter is what it is. Over a decade ago with that fucking asshole piece of shit John Kasich. Which I'm pretty sure you might have been in our General Assembly at the fucking time helping pass that bullshit. So, to basically turn Ohio into a two-party system is what it was. Instead of allowing all parties to have a fucking say in the state. Because that's the truth of the matter, right? It's not even just Ohio for that matter. It's every single state in this country, dude. Like, there is no blue states. There is no red states. There is a mix of these things. But there's also a mix of a lot of fucking people who want to vote for different third parties, what it is, dude. Whether it be a constitutional party, whether it be a communist party, whatever the case be, doesn't matter. The entire point is those people's votes should be able to be a block at that point. They should be able to have a voter block at that point. If you're going to be dumb enough to have a bunch of fucking retards but a communist into power, obviously they probably shouldn't have voting rights after that. That one time around is what it is. Neither should the person voting into office, for that matter, be in power ever. But the entire point of the matter is it's like they should still have the ability to do that based on our founding documents of this country is what it is. So, you know, and yes, I understand my whole thing of that whole thing, and it's a whole thing, man. You know, people might sit there and say it's hypocritical of me or whatever the case be. I really don't give a fuck, honestly, at this point, dude. You know, we are just over a month now since mom's passing, and I'm just fucking sick of all of it anymore, dude. So, just like there was one fucking scumbag yesterday who was another one of these military vet type people or whatever who was shit talking Trump or whatever the case, because I guess Trump did something over the weekend. He was at like Sneaker Con or something, I think is what it was, or something like that. And he supposedly pulled out like this gold pair of shoes that had like an American flag on them, and the guy was talking about disrespect to the flag and stuff like that. And I understand it from that perspective of things, because, you know, the problem really is, and it's not just Trump though, it's every fucking person that's been in power disrespects the fucking flag at one point or another, dude. Because most of them don't even understand flag codes what it is, right? And that's the problem. You actually can be a person that makes a video that sits there and is like, dude, like, this is why it pisses me off, because you're disrespecting flag code, basically, and go on like this whole tirade about flag code is what it would be then. But no, what this guy did is he's basically an anti-Trump piece of shit, and then he's shit-talking Trump supporters is what it is, dude, which, you know what I'm going to say on that one? Fuck you, guy, because I am a fucking pro-Trump guy is what it is right now. And you're damn right I'm voting for him in 2024 here. Because I'm not letting fucking Biden steal the goddamn presidency again is what it is. But anyway, and that's another thing too, by the way. Like, this guy's whole tirade, he doesn't once call out Biden's pullout in Afghanistan in 2021, how he got 8 military personnel, you know, servicemen and women and stuff like that, you know, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, all people like that is what it is there that were killed. He got 8 of these people killed in that failed pullout by Afghanistan terrorists is what it was, you know, ISIS, etc. there. Or how he left behind literally billions of dollars in full auto weaponry and everything else for that matter, from tanks to, you know, fully equipped planes and helicopters and shit like that, full of arms and shit, you know, full of rockets, full of missiles, full of grenades, etc. there. And how almost every single thing of that is now in the hands of fucking Hamas terrorists, dude. And people wonder why people like me get pissed off, honestly, dude. It's like, that's why, dude. Because we understand the whole thing where you have people trying to fuck with our rights is what it is. So for them to sit there and claim that Frank LaRose is pro 2A, going back full circle here, I don't buy it, dude. Again, you can sit there and fucking take a survey and basically say all the right things and stuff. It doesn't actually mean what you're going to do if you were to become a U.S. Senator is going to be those things. You could sit there and turn around and be Matt Dolan 2.0 is what it is then. By the way, I'm calling it Matt Dolan at this point, too, because that piece of shit should actually be in Ohio State prison right now, not in the Ohio State Senate right now, or running for the U.S. Senate right now. Because legitimately, roughly just over a year ago, it was about 14 months, give or take now, because it was December 2022. It was the last days of that General Assembly for the year and for the actual, I think, 2-year General Assembly was period there. This motherfucker introduced Senate Bill 357, 357 handgun caliber, which was an anti-gun bill that, by the way, should have gone to a committee that dealt with Second Amendment related stuff, not to some fucking Senate Finance Committee that fucking asshole Matt Dolan was chairing at the time. But of course, he made it some fucking Senate Finance Committee bullshit and then pushed it through there and then tried to get the votes for it there. And I actually was on the phone for fucking days at that point, calling out everybody on that Senate committee. And I was like, dude, oust this motherfucker from office. Put him in prison where he fucking belongs for being an oath-breaking sack of shit. And I specifically said that phrase to people, is what it was, dude. I think they somewhat listened because they voted the shit down is what it was, but they didn't listen enough to actually kick him out of fucking office is what it is there. And that's the problem again. And I think this is the issue with Ohio right now entirely, as a state being so corrupt is what it is. Because they know, if you got, basically it's like that one scene from the movie High School High where the woman has her skirt, it's like really long or whatever, and there's like that little piece hanging off of it, and John Lovett's character like pulls off that string or whatever, and it just starts unraveling the whole fucking skirt thing. He just tosses it like randomly after it's like so much or whatever, it gets thrown into a fan and that makes it like way short is what it was then. Which is kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, it's relevant too, because it's, it's basically that whole thing right there. It's, you have this sort of house of cards essentially, or, basically one loose string on a dress, or a long ass skirt is what it is, that you pull that one string forward and it basically unravels the entire thing is what it is there. And I think that's the problem with Ohio right now. It's so corrupt in both parties right now. And I mean that seriously. And I'm not saying there isn't good people in both parties too, for that matter. Or sorry. There is good people in the Republican Party in the state of Ohio. The Democrat Party can personally suck my fucking dick right now, dude, because they are all corrupt as shit is what it is. Fuck all of them. Every single one of these assholes that has been in power for any amount of time has been doing anti-2A shit for anywhere from a couple days to the last 5 fucking years in this state or more. And yet they haven't been thrown out of office for this shit is what it is, dude. Hell, we're coming up on the 30th anniversary in a couple months right now. It'll be May of 2024 here. It'll be the 30th anniversary of the day that Allison Russo's bitch ass, the top Democrat bitch in this fucking state is what it is right now, took a big ass fat fucking envelope full of cash bribe from Moms Demand Action on camera at a House Oversight Committee hearing for constitutional carry in 2021. Nobody ever investigated this shit. I literally talked to my state rep, Reggie Stolface, who's trying to run for Congress right now, about this shit over 2 years ago now. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, we can't really investigate an envelope pass between people. It's like, dude, there's obviously intent there. Like, there's obviously intent. You have a woman who is an anti-gun piece of shit who has been trying to push anti-gunner crap from red flag laws, universal background checks, to everything in between at the time, literally being handed this fucking thick-ass envelope from a Moms Demand Action anti-gunner. It's like, how the fuck is that not investigated? And again, it's like, what the fuck, man? Or in the same vein of things, going back to 2019. August 2019, I get fairly swatted by the FBI over saying some shit about Andrew Yang. Fucking September 2019, Democrat state rep and piece of fucking garbage, Casey Weinstein, who is the biggest anti-gun, anti-life hypocrite in this entire fucking state because he has kids, by the way. But he's going to be all about killing babies in the womb and shit is what it is there. And taking people's gun rights and stuff. This fucking ass clown goes and does what I call meme gate at this point, because that's what it actually is, where he literally printed off a bunch of quote-unquote tyrant memes with his own computer, with his own printer, goes and puts him in his fucking mailbox, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure constitutes a federal felony because you're committing hate or something using fucking, USPS system is what it is then. Or at least high level misdemeanor at the federal levels would be then, where he should be thrown out of office for that whole thing then. And yeah, he basically then turns around and is like, oh, somebody put these tyrant memes in my mailbox to threaten me. Yet doesn't say a fucking thing about how at the time he was trying to pass a magazine ban in the state of Ohio. Anything over 10 rounds at the time. Which, by the way, never got passed, thank God, because we have a Republican supermajority in the state. But yeah, that's the whole point entirely, dude. It's like, yeah, you're going to sit there and fucking lie to the American people about that. And the thing is, too, what's even more retarded, too, then, is it was like, I want to say it was around 2022 as well, for that matter. You had this asshole have a bunch of people outside of his house, which turned out to be his voter base for some reason. I have no idea what people are voting for this fucking idiot anymore, dude. Again, it goes back to I think it's really the old FUD mentality of fucking retards that are military vets in the state. We probably have a bunch of brain damage, is my guess, honestly. Who are like, oh, but Casey Weinstein's a military vet too. No, he's not, dude. There's a difference between serving in the military and being a combat veteran. This motherfucker was not a combat veteran. He never saw a fucking day of combat in his goddamn life because what Casey Weinstein's bitch ass was in the U.S. military was some fucking dude in a fucking boardroom who was doing lawyer shit. That's exactly what the whole thing was there. Hang on, I gotta get this. All right, sorry about that. My sister called me. We had to talk about some stuff because it was relating to the house and the contents. Specifically, what we're gonna do with mom's stuff is what it is that we don't want here, and if we can sell it off or if we can auction it or what's gonna be here, if it's gonna be just have to be donated or what it's gonna be then. So anyway, yeah, going back to what I was saying though about Weinstein's bitch ass about 7 minutes ago. So you have Casey Weinstein being this fucking dude who was literally a lawyer guy in the military who I think he rode that whole like I'm a military vet thing too when he got into office, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was now. And that's the problem with these people, dude. Like all these Democrat sacks of shit, they'll fucking pull people's heartstrings like that and be like, well, I'm just like you, fellow dude who served in the military, except I'm totally not because we didn't serve in the same fucking roles is what it is. Like you were probably a combat vet. I was some fucking random dude in a boardroom kind of thing is what it is there. And it's the same thing with that Teresa Fader woman who used to be in our state senate too, for that matter, who was running as John Crenley's lieutenant governor in the 2022 midterms there. And her ass tried to pull the old military vet thing back in like 2021 here as well, when they were trying to vote down pro-choice legislation like Constitution carries what it was there. And it's like, bitch, you are not a military vet. You were just some fucking dumb cunt in a fucking literal control center in the U.S. Air Force is what it was. Like you act like your fucking shit is not public record, woman. You act like people like me cannot go find that stuff of your ass and call your fucking ass out on that whole thing. Like, we can literally look up your fucking military record, you dumb bitch. So stop fucking lying about being an active combat vet and shit like that. So, anyway. But yeah, that's what pisses me off about Weinstein and people like that too. But anyway, going back to that story about him though. So basically you had these people that were at his house that were actually his voter base. He is such a fucking pussy. He couldn't even do it himself, by the way. He had to have his wife call the fucking cops for him. And then proceeding from there, had the cops go talk to people and they're like, bro, we're out here to support this guy for some reason. And then Casey turned around and did some fucking interview for the random news stations here is what it was, like ABC, NBC, CBS, etc. there. And straight up lied about the whole thing. He was fucking gaslighting people, being like, these people were trying to attack my house January 6th style. It's like, dude, you are such a fucking lying scumbag cunt. Like, seriously. Like, how the fuck are you still in our General Assembly at this point is my question. How has every Republican not lockstepped against you and tossed your fucking ass on your fucking piece of shit, baby-killing fucking scumbag ass at this point, dude? Seriously. It just blows my mind, honestly. And like I said, the only thing that makes sense is going back to that whole, pulling of the string thing. If they pulled the string that was Weinstein, basically, or Russo, or whoever it is there from the Democrat Party, you would then have them have enough dirt on Republicans in our state house right now to essentially take everybody down, kind of thing is what it is there. And you'd have the corruption on both aisles outed like fucking crazy, where it'd basically be like a crazy political war of, by the time it's all said and done, you have like 70 people from the Ohio General Assembly kicked out of fucking office for random corruption scandals and pay-to-play scandals and shit like that, what it would be then. Or bribery or extortion or embezzlement or whatever the case be then. So, but yeah. Anyway, going back to what our main topic of the day was, obviously, that kind of got me off track. Here's what it was, though. Was the anti-gunner sheriffs being a problem there. And like I said, going back to that Houston, Texas story there with the Ed Gonzalez guy. So that dude was basically making a statement about this 14-year-old kid that, shot this criminal who was trying to break into his home is what it was. And was all like, oh yeah, the kid did the right thing kind of thing, or whatever the case be, and just sort of left it at that basically is what it was. And how, homelessness is a problem there in Houston, Texas, and how it's basically, people doing all kinds of felon or criminal and petty theft is what it is there, or like felony, home invasions and stuff like that's what it is then. And what's funny is, going back to the Gonzalez guy, is the fact the guy's a Democrat Party dude as a sheriff. And he might be a blue dog Democrat, except for the fact that he's then pushing for red flag laws and stuff like that to keep people's gun rights away from them in the Houston, Texas area, or just in the state of Texas, period, is what it is there. And then on top of that, let's talk about gun violence, when in reality it's all gang violence. There was a great, let me see if I can find that real quick, actually. I pulled something up the other day where it was showing, Oh, yeah, here it is. Where it was showing the so-called mass shootings and stuff like that from 2023. And then when you actually start looking at the shit here, this demographic that somebody made up here, it is 2023 mass shooting deaths by white shooters, 41, black shooters, 8, Hispanic shooters, 8, Asian shooters, 18, gang violence, 643. And that was Mother Jones, by the way. That was the one that was talking about the whole thing there. So yeah, they're talking about 700 plus mass shootings, yet 640 plus of them are all fucking related to gang banging shit is what it is there, dude. So it's a bunch of bullshit in general to sit there and talk about we have a fucking mass shooting problem, or we have, like, you know, massacre problem in this country when we don't is what it is. What we have is a fucking bunch of criminals being able to sit there and do criminal shit again and again and again and again and again without being fucking taken care of and dealt with accordingly. Hell, you had one the other day. It was in, I'm trying to think what the state was now. It was in Minnesota, I believe is what it actually was there. You had 2 cops and a paramedic murdered. And it turns out the piece of shit who murdered them was this fucking black dude who got his rights restored, by the way, back in 2020, after in 2012 having a felony domestic violence charge on his ass, dude, where he was like beating on his bitch or whatever it was there. And that's the thing, like, that one was actually a case of him actually doing the fucking crime is what it was there. So the guy was a hardcore convicted felon. Should have never been out of fucking prison again after that, by the way. Or at least should have been in prison for a couple of decades then, not fucking a few years is what it was, which I guarantee he got cut a plea deal is what it was, because probably racist, my guess, honestly, at this point. This is how it seems like our fucking system is anymore. Or it was some black judge that basically gave some black piece of shit a fucking, some black gang member piece of shit, basically, a fucking free pass instead of, you know, giving them, like, mandatory minimums, what it was. They're like, oh no, brother, like, too many of us are incarcerated already. Here's like a 3-year fucking plea deal or something like that. And that's the thing. It goes back to what we talked about before with Ketanji Brown Jackson, the bitch that Biden appointed to the Supreme Court like a year or two ago is what it was now. And her ass, for several years there, when she was a regular judge, was literally giving hardcore convicted pedophiles, like people that literally raped small children between the ages of like 0 and 10, fucking slaps on the wrist. Like, she was giving them less than the mandatory minimums at a federal level as a federal judge. And it's like, what the fuck? How the fuck are you still not in prison, bitch? Like, again, it goes back to the corruption of all this shit at this point, dude. It's like, truthfully, like, as much as I hate the left, as much as I hate Antifa and BLM and all shit like that, dude, like, I'm to the point of, like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's tear the bitch down. Let's tear it all the fuck down and take it right back to our constitutional founding, bitches. We take it straight back to 1776 and be fucking done with it. Have it out again. And then those of us that are left and survive it, move on with our lives. We write the history books for the winners of what it is then. And the rest of y'all that were a bunch of losers are no longer remembered ever again. It's as simple as that, really. Which, honestly, we would like, personally, if I was writing a history book as a winner, though, I would technically remember stuff like that, because I would make sure to put that in there. Like, yeah, you know, Antifa was these kind of scumbags, BLM was these kind of scumbags. Like, the Democrat Party created these fucking things, etc. This is why you don't allow these fuckers ever in power again, kind of thing. So that it's like, you know, 150 years from now or whatever, if it would happen again, you got, you know, that generation of the you know, 23rd, 24th century, whatever it is at the time, sitting there being like, oh, you know what? They're right about that. Like, this is how the shit rises again. Let's make sure to take it out again, you know, kind of thing. So, but yeah, apparently, going back to LaRose for a second here, though, it said LaRose, already Secretary of State, didn't hold back on gun answers. Said, A, Biden and Sherrod Brown want a ban on AR-15 and other so-called assault weapons. LaRose said no. B, Biden and Sherrod Brown want to outlaw 30-round magazines and 80% lowers. Frank LaRose said no on that one. C, Biden and Sherrod Brown want to pass a national red flag law destroys due process for gun owners and allows liberal judges to fuck with gun owners' rights is what it is there. And LaRose said he's a no on that one as well. And then said just as important, LaRose made it clear that he is a yes in the very important gun owner things, which was eliminate scandal-ridden lawless ATF, repeal the Deadly Gun-Free School Zones Act, and pass the National Second Amendment Preservation Act law that prohibits the use of federal funds for law enforcement. So again, that's the thing though, right? LaRose can say all that shit, dude. He can say all that shit. That doesn't make it true though. He can literally say all these things. It doesn't actually make it true. And that was sent to my emails at 12:30 this afternoon. We also got Bernie Moreno, by the way, was surveyed here. This is what they said about Bernie Moreno, who was also 100% pro-gun, according to this thing. Because he was the exact same fucking things, dude. He said the exact same shit. He was no's on Saltman's ban, no on universal gun registration, no on 30-round magazine bans, and 80% lower bans. No on gun confiscation laws disguised as mental health reform. And then he was yes on eliminating ATF, yes on repealing the Deadly Gun-Free Zone, Gun-Free School Zones Act 1990, and yes on National Civil Preservation Act. So yeah, like I said, dude, like truthfully, I believe Moreno at this point, man. Because the thing is, with Bernie Moreno is not a fucking career politician like Frank LaRose is, nor is he a career politician like Matt Dolan is, dude. He's the only guy in this entire fucking race right now that's like a known guy is what it is, who has never actually been in power at all in this country. He's basically J.D. Vance at this point, like J.D. Vance was 2 years ago is what it was. And the thing is, as far as I'm aware, like, I'm not 100% sure if Trump has actually backed Moreno yet, but Moreno has basically been putting out commercials like he's like, yeah, I'm the pro-Trump guy here is what it is. So, that being said, people would go on the whole thing of like, oh, Bernie Moreno's a used car salesman kind of shit or whatever the case be. The only knock I would personally have against Bernie Moreno at this point too as well is the fact that about a year or so ago, give or take, and this is what people's short attention spans are, they can't remember this stuff, but I can because I'm autistic as fuck is what it is. And that's the great thing about weaponized autism, by the way, is you can actually remember things like that and keep them, elephant memory in your mind is what it is there. And so basically with Bernie Moreno, about roughly a year or so ago, give or take now, might have been 2022 even for that matter, there was a whole thing that came out about reparations stuff at the time, and his dumb ass went on this whole fucking rant about how the people who were direct descendants of Civil War soldiers that fought for the North should get reparations. And it's like, you are a fucking moron, bro. Seriously. Like, that alone is like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard from you at all, sir. It's like, no, nobody should get reparations ever, dude, because number one, nobody in modern history is a slave. Nobody in modern history owns slaves, you jackass. And nobody actually fought in modern history for that stuff. And by the way, every single person that was involved in the American Civil War, the first American Civil War is what it was, we're all American citizens, buddy. It's not like we were fighting fucking foreigners. We were fighting North versus South. And by the way, people always push the bullshit about fucking slavery crap there. Yet half of you assholes don't even understand that the majority of why we had a fucking American Civil War in this country to begin with in the 1800s is what it was there, is the fact that you wanted people that were actually pro-10th Amendment wanting states' rights, because what was happening at the time was you had a bunch of southern crop plantations being taxed into fucking non-existence by a bunch of fucking assholes in Washington from the fucking North is what it was, dude. And then, of course, you had them fucking put the guise of slavery on it. And I'm not going to sit there and say that wasn't part of it, too, because you actually look at the actual, what would have been the Confederate Constitution, basically, is what it was there. There was, like, stuff about slavery in that, too, for that matter. And that's why people always put about slavery is what it is there. So I'm not saying it wasn't a portion of it. It was, obviously. But it wasn't the majority is what it was. It was just a chunk of it. Like, whether that be 25%, 35%, whatever it was there. But yeah, there was a bigger, like, 60, 70% chunk that was, like, states' rights and stuff like that. And I also like to point something out, too, for that matter, is that being a history buff like I am and actually looking into stuff and doing my research on history, there were fucking slaves in the North after fucking Civil War ended! For years! Like, it was like half a decade or some shit. Or even longer in some cases. Where people were still in slavery / indentured servitude in this country after fucking Civil War ended, dude. And it was all in the North. Like, Northerners had slaves still, dude. And what's funny is what people never fucking really want to talk about or never really want to have a conversation about is how America was the first country to end slavery. Way, way before anything else was, dude. Hell, you have videos coming out now over in various African nations currently, dude, where you have black people enslaving other black people. But nobody wants to talk about that shit in 2024, even though it's happening right now, because Shocker doesn't fit their fucking bullshit-ass narrative. Where it's all anti-white racism bullshit is what it is at the end of the day. Just like that fuckstick Justin Jones the other day with fucking Blood Tribe there in Nashville, where he literally invited these fucking Fed informants there. So you can go outside of a fucking building or whatever and be like, look at these white supremacists back here. It's like, fuck you, dude. You were such a fucking BLM terrorist sack of shit in general. Like, pretty sure it was your ass, Justin Jones, who was literally carried around fucking coffins the size of a dead fucking baby, you piece of shit. Like, I can't believe that somebody had smacked the fucking shit out of him in the Tennessee General Assembly at that point, dude. Like, anybody in that fucking corridor should have went and smacked his fucking ass out cold like that, dude. They should have slapped him so hard and knocked his ass out cold then. From that one. For that fucking stunt alone is what it is then, dude. Like, he should have been on the ground being like... just fucking snoring, bro. So, anyway. But anywho. But yeah, going back to anti-gun sheriffs there, you got Charmaine McGuffey, who's here in Hamilton County, which is the Cincinnati area there. She's fucking an MDA plant, dude. She's freely admitted that, by the way, dozens of times while being sheriff of that county is what it is, dude. How the fuck she remains sheriff of that county is beyond me. The only thing I can assume is it's such a Democrat-held pocket there in Cincinnati, it's her voter base is what it is there. They just keep keeping her in power is what it is then, so it's probably a bunch of moms doing action types, so just keeping her in power there is what it is then. So... but yeah, she's an oath-breaking sack of shit. She's all the same thing like this Ed Gonzalez guy. She's all pro-red flag law stuff and stuff like that, dude. She's openly gone to our fucking General Assembly here in Ohio multiple times for constitutional carry hearings or anti-gun stuff, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. And been all like, oh yeah, I'm totally being paid out by Michael Bloomberg to be here. I shouldn't be in office either for that matter, but I'm going to do my fucking due diligence here to be a scumbag fucking anti-gun sack of shit oath-breaker. And spew a bunch of goddamn nonsense and be all against pro-2A bills and be all for anti-2A bills and stuff like that. So, I really wish the county coroner of Hamilton County would just arrest this cunt already and be done with it, dude. Because there's no person that technically can arrest the sheriff is what it is the county coroner. So, fun fact for anybody that doesn't know that, honestly, I've talked about that several times in these grandstands and stuff like that over the years. Something I learned about in 2020 from my my friend Joe Burriall. Good dude. He's actually a direct descendant of George Washington, our first president of this country. So he also shares DNA with my niece, because my niece and him actually share another person, because I forget who it was. It was either Lee or Grant or somebody that was one of the Civil War generals there. And that's a direct descendant of his. It's also direct descendant of my niece is what it is then, and her bloodline from her mom's side is what it is there. So... yeah, pretty cool little connection there is what it was. So, but yeah, he's the dude who was basically a super pro constitutionalist, got me to be a constitutionalist, what it was after that. And then sometime in about a year after that, basically went this whole like namaste route of like, sort of like weird monk dude or something like that. So I don't know what the fuck he's up to these days, but yeah. I mean, he was kind of on that path already, it seemed like, but he was also super pro 2A is what it was at the time, and a constitutionalist guy and stuff like that. So it does seem kind of weird that he just went like, full like, Buddhist monk kind of dude or whatever then. I'm not saying he's actually a Buddhist monk, but he definitely went like the monk route is what it is. Seems like there is what it is though. So, but like I say, he's still a good dude. That's what it is, man. And I still talk to some of those people though. Unfortunately, Stark Stage United really it still exists as a Facebook page, but it's basically a non-existent group right now is what it is. I would say the network is basically taking over for that, honestly. For the Ohio Patriot Education Network, we've taken over for that moniker. I put myself obviously at the head of this whole thing, creating this, group for 2A rights. And yeah, a lot of the people that were in Stark Stage United have now flown over, or I should say shifted over, to be part of the network is what it is now. So if I ever did go down to Columbus and stuff and make like a whole thing, it would be myself and like a bunch of those people from Stark Stands is what it is then. And then we'd probably pick up some of the people from the different counties along the way is what it would be then. On our drive down there or something, where we'd go with we start with like one van of people there or whatever from like Stark County, maybe two vans of people from Stark County or whatever then. And then as we're driving down, like randomly just have people from other counties like sort of join the caravan, and we have 10 vehicles deep or something like that full of people. Unlike Moms Man in Action, who Bloomberg pays a charter company to do a charter bus for these fucking people so they can go up to Cleveland and around these areas like that, and then up down Cincinnati too, for that matter, so they can basically converge these two buses straight to the fucking state house every time there's pro-2A or anti-2A legislation on the dockets. So, and they want to talk about how they're volunteers. It's like, no, you're not volunteers. You're getting paid, you dumb cunts. People like myself, who are not taking a paycheck to fight for 2A rights, are volunteers. We're volunteering our time to help protect our constitutional rights, you fucking worthless cunts. So, anyway. Check and see if there's anything worth talking about right now and a couple other things here. Let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, we need to talk about this one because of how disgusting the left truly is right now, dude. Oh, this goes back to that piece of shit Manuel Oliver and the scumbags that march for our lives. By the way, I've talked about this before, dude. Manuel Oliver, who's the dad of the guy who was one of the kids that was killed at Parkland there years ago, he should be in federal prison right now for interrupting congressional hearings, the same way David Hogg should be too, for that matter, for doing the same exact thing. And yet neither one of them caught a felony charge for that whole thing. But yeah, as this is saying here, you got group sends Congress gun control pleas via AI-generated voices of the dead. That's that piece of shit Manuel Oliver right there and his idiot wife. So as part of a campaign launched by March for Our Lives and Change the Ref, lawmakers are receiving pleas for gun control via the AI-generated voices of people killed in mass shootings. What a bunch of sick shit, dude. What a bunch of sick fucks in general, dude. Since CNN reported that one of the AI-generated voices is of Hakeem Oliver, a student killed in the February 14, 2018 Parkland High School shooting. Oh, I didn't realize we just passed the 16th anniversary of that one. I completely blanked on that one, dude, that the other day was the 16th anniversary of Parkland now. Said when a call is placed using the AI-generated voice meant to represent Oliver, lawmakers here, 6 years ago, I was a senior at Parkland. Many students and teachers were murdered on Valentine's Day that year by a person using an AR-15 assault rifle. It's been 6 years and you've done nothing, not a thing to stop all the shootings that have continued to happen since. No, dickface. What they have done, they actually have done stuff. They've done a bunch of anti-gun bullshit after Uvalde 2 years ago. They also, by the way, have never fucking repealed the Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990, something that fuckhead Joe Biden was literally the architect of, and has literally led to every fucking mass shooting in this country for 34 goddamn years now. So yeah, you want to have lawmakers do something, dude? Repeal the fucking Gun-Free Schools Act 1990, dude. Stop making schools gun-free zones. Stop making malls gun-free zones. Stop making random places of houses of worship gun-free zones. Stop making fucking random places like a Bob Evans or a fucking Popeyes or a fucking McDonald's or any other sit-down restaurant for that matter, gun-free zones. Stop allowing gun-free zones to be a thing in this country. That's how you stop these fucking massacres from happening, dude. You pass constitutional carry nationwide, you pass stand your ground nationwide, and you tell people, carry and shoot back against criminals. And when they start doing so and they start fucking smoking these criminal pieces of shit on the spot, dude, and greasing these motherfuckers and letting them be the asphalt temperature challenge asshole winners, that's how we win the fucking fight once and for all. We're already winning it one state at a time, by the way. We already have over 27 states being constitutional carry states right now, bro. So, yeah, it's just disgusting, dude. Okay, this is just an absolute lie, dude. The fucking voice was talking about, Oliver's voice is saying, my body was destroyed by a weapon of war. No, it wasn't, dude. No, it wasn't. It's a fucking teeny bullet, bro. It's not gonna fucking blow your fucking body apart, dude. It's not like it's a fucking explosive 50 cal round or something like that, like incendiary 50 cal round or something like that, dude, where it's gonna set you on fire and shit like that. No, it's a teeny fucking bullet So, and honestly, this is what I've said before, dude. These anti-gun groups need to be in prison right now for this kind of shit. For being accessories to these massacres, what it is then. Yes, the gun control group Change the Ref was founded by Oliver's father, Manuel, who said, "My wife and I have been trying to use our voices for the last 6 years nonstop. We have tried almost every single way to approach gun violence in a way that people will pay attention. We haven't been very successful." Oh, gee, I wonder why, asshole. Maybe because you're trying to take over people's rights like my rights, you fucking cocksucker, instead of actually dealing with the fucking criminals who are the ones behind this bullshit, you fucking asswipe. Like, I don't know, the fucking literal Secret Service / FBI who was at Parkland over 25 fucking times before the massacre happened. That's a fucking fact, by the way. You could look into that shit, dude. That's a proven fact at this point that it happened. But nobody ever talks about that shit at all. Nobody ever talks about how the fucking kids that were there that day were literally standing with that fucking Cruz piece of shit who was supposed to be the guy killing everybody in a fucking classroom while there's gunfire going on over here and over here at the same fucking time. And there was a very possibility of 3 shooters being there at the time for that massacre to happen then, dude. So, yeah. Nobody ever talks about the fucking Broward County cop who was a fucking Broward coward who sat outside the fucking place for like 15 to 25 minutes, something like that's what it was. Hearing the gunshots going on in there, letting kids be fucking killed while being a school resource officer and doing fucking nothing to engage the fucking shooter or shooters for that matter. Why? Because, shocker, where is Broward County? Debbie Wasserman Schultz Congressional District. Debbie Wasserman Schultz being a Clinton fucking puppet, where at least 3 different guys over the last 10 years or so that were Debbie's opponents for Congress, that congressional seat is what it was, have been randomly found dead on beaches and shit, dude. Like, I don't know, maybe investigate that shit too, for that matter. Like, what, Debbie Wasserman Schultz opponents keep ending up fucking, face up on a beach, dead. So, yeah, seems pretty fishy, dude, right? Anyway. But yeah, you're not going to be successful, Manuel Oliver, because you're a fucking anti-gun piece of shit, bro. You want to be successful at something, dude? Help repeal the Gun-Free School Zones Act 1990 help kill your son, buddy. That's how you fucking help us right now. That's the compromise you have, dude. Or just shut the fuck up so just go away forever, dude. For real. Yeah, so they haven't been very successful, so they decided, you know what? Let's bring the voices of our loved ones. Let's bring the voice of Joaquin. Yeah, and then, of course, they'll sit there and lie about fucking who actually did the massacre there is what it is. Yeah, we got to March 1st, 2018. Miami Herald noted that Florida State Senator Laura Book, Democrat, indicted the Parkland shooter, went in with only 10-round magazines because larger magazines would not fit in his duffel bag. So background checks, magazine capacity laws. 10 rounds or 2 with the gun controls, most often talked about and pushed for gun safety is what it is there. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit entirely, dude. I'm so fucking sick and tired of it. So, that was an interesting one, too, the other day. You had Kevin O'Leary, the guy that calls himself Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank there, talking about Trump's fraud case thing being basically a bunch of BS and how it's going to fuck over everybody else in real estate now is what it is. So, maybe not. I don't know, dude. Let's see here now. Argentina announces financial surplus in January, the first in 12 years. Isn't that where that Javier guy was recently elected? Where he like slashed the budget of a bunch of anti-gunner and woke ass bullshit there is what it was. Different departments you just toss off the fucking map is what it is there. So yeah, shocker, dude. First time in 12 years that you don't have a communist sack of shit in power there and you got a surplus in the country now. Interesting. I'll tell you what, honestly, if I ever was to leave America and I knew that Argentina was going to be pro-2A as fuck and allow me to keep my gun rights and stuff, I would totally go to Argentina then. So, now granted, I would never leave this country's soil just because, I'm not going to do that is what it is, because there's no reason to do that is what it would be then. So, but yeah, the Oliver parents are scumbag sacks of shit, dude, entirely. They are the worst of the worst kind of people in our country, dude. Yes, I understand you lost your son 6 years ago, people. Yes, I understand you're probably still grieving at this point. You probably have PTSD is my guess, honestly, dude. Or some kind of other post-traumatic stress is what it is there or something. And you know what you need to do for that, man? Stop pushing the anti-gun narrative and seriously, go seek help, go get a therapist, go into therapy. Deal with your loss. Move yourselves out of the limelight for a while. And then come back around and maybe change your fucking stance on shit. Because everything you're pushing, whether it be red flag laws, universal background checks, magazine capacity bans, all that crap like that, dude, isn't going to do a damn thing to stop these massacres in the future. What will is repealing the Gun-Free Schools Act of 1990. What will is putting armed teachers into schools. What will is having armed school staff on site to confront any possible shooter. What will is having actual people that are going to step up and do their job, not a bunch of fucking Broward coward fucking piece of shit cops that are going to stand outside with their fucking gun up behind a fucking random ass piece of equipment, or I think it might have been an actual like gator thing or whatever it was there, and hide like a bitch for 15 to 25 minutes while your son's being murdered. What will is suing these people into the fucking ground, honestly, dude, for allowing your son to be killed that day. What will is suing the federal government for murdering your kid in wrongful death lawsuits. Now, granted, for them, I think it's been too long, honestly, unfortunately, because, again, it's usually a year of the death date is what it is there in most states. So even though it shouldn't be, it should be anywhere from, like, now to whenever the fuck I want to do is what it is then. But, yeah, the whole point is it's like, yeah, what'll stop this shit in the future, man, is holding these politicians accountable that are causing this shit by putting anti-gun laws on the books is what it is there. By stopping good guys with guns from being able to deal with the situation. You know, it's just like Uvalde. You had the fucking gunman in that one run into the school, run into that classroom. You had cops on this motherfucker's tail, literally 10, 15 feet behind him, running through the door right behind him. He was able to duck into the classroom. They were right there. They could have just did a boom bust right into the fucking thing there is what it was, dude. You know, done their job as police officers, you know, been the people that were going to take the gunfire and killed this asshole and taken care of the fucking threat right then and there. But no, they sat in the fucking hallway there in Uvalde, Texas, and waited fucking an hour and some change is what it was before they finally had some fucking shield bullshit come forward. Let dozens of fucking kids be killed at that point. Multiple teachers be murdered, etc. there in cold blood while they were fucking feet away from the fucking shooter, dude. It's just insane to me. It's just insane to me, dude. The thing is, too, even the way that place was set up, I'm pretty sure that it was like internal windows or whatever there, too, for that classroom and shit. You could have easily had a bunch of those cops go through there with fucking ARs and shit like that, dude. Like patrolman's rifles and stuff. And just fucking, like, right around, like, head level is what it is for that guy. You know, like, obviously, if you're doing it down here, it would be, like, kid's head level. But if you're doing it, like, 5.5, 6 feet up there is what it is, dude. To just be like, fucking spray the lines is what it is, dude, a bunch of times. And you probably would have hit his ass a couple times, is my guess, honestly, dude. So, or at least you could have had, like, you know, him fire back at you and known, like, precisely where he was then. So then potentially you have, like, somebody else come in from another angle or whatever and be like, bang, and fucking dome his ass, and is what it is then. So, yeah, it's just, it's disgusting. When you start looking into it more and more and you realize it's all government psyops and fucking legitimately U.S. government created shit so they can sit there and create these massacres to then push more gun control to disarm us all while implementing a whole thing of bringing in literal fucking sleeper cells from the third world and every other fucking country for that matter into our nation to try to kill us later is what it is then, disarmed. No, I will never fucking give up my guns, dude. And I encourage every other American not only to not give up your gun rights, but also to go buy more guns if you can, and buy more ammo, and buy more magazines that are so-called higher capacity. And have full kits for not only you, but your entire fucking family. You know, if that means putting a full kit on your fucking 8 to 10-year-old child and teaching him how to shoot a fucking gun if shit goes down, then yeah, have an 8 to 10-year-old child, dude. Fucking full kit on, ready to fucking roll, dude. If that means having your, 5'2" wife, 5'4" wife, whatever it is, having her full kit on and her fucking AR, etc. there, dude, or her AK, whatever it is, whatever she wants to have there, then yeah, have her have that stuff. Obviously, if I was going to go that route with all my family and stuff like that, if I had, a full family where I was like myself, my wife, and a couple of kids, or whatever the case be, or multiple kids for that matter, what I would actually do is I would uniform the shit actually, and it would be, you would have every single gun being AR-15 is what it is then for the long rifles. There would be no AKs at all there because, again, it goes back to that whole thing of like, you don't want to be the guy with the AK in a group of people with ARs when the shit goes south is what it is, dude. You just don't want to be that guy because it's basically you have your kit of however many mags you have on you, whether it be 8, 10, 6, whatever it is there. And then you're out of fucking ammo after that, dude. Then you're doing battlefield pickups of somebody else's shit is what it is then. Then you're grabbing some AR from the fucking battlefield or whatever the case be, or some, full auto M4 or M16, whatever it is there, that some dead soldier dropped or whatever it was then. Some illegal that they turned into some fucking soldier in this country or whatever the case be. You smoked that fucking illegal and took their shit is what it is then. So, but yeah, that's what's going to be. It's going to be a lot of battlefield pickups like that's what it'll be then, man. But yeah, like I can see having an AK if it's a battlefield pickup at some point, like down the road, we actually have like full blown hot civil war in this country. But with the exception of that, like there's no reason to have that, honestly. Like it's cool to have that, obviously, but like the fact that we have all this shit over with Ukraine and Russia and everything like that, and the 7.62 39 ammo not being available anymore like it is, or not being cost effective anymore like it was. No. The go-to is 5.56, 2.23, et cetera there, dude. And yeah, you should be full kitting out your entire family and anybody else that's like, a adult within your fucking system, whatever it is there that you would have. So if that means you have, yourself, your wife, some kids, maybe a cousin or a brother or a sister or whatever it is there that would need a kit, like have all these kits ready is what it isn't, dude. And like I said, you could do what I did. I made the tactical backpack, like you could legitimately go and buy something like this right here. Of course, the 1776 patch is not with it, but yeah, you can buy something like this right here. And you're talking about, I think this was like, it was either 25 or 30 bucks on Amazon. So, times that by, 6, 7. So you're talking about, $180, $200, something like that for that. And you can have, 6, I think it's like 6 mags in the middle, big pouch there, a couple of handgun mags in the bottom pouch there, and then a couple AR mags in the back here is what it is too as well for that matter. So it's like an 8 mag carrier basically as a backpack. And you could easily have that and strap that onto somebody like that, dude, or whatever the case be. Now, granted, for a small child, it would be a lot harder to get that done just because they can't hold enough weight is what it is then. But the entire point of the matter is it's like, yeah, you still have the ability to, you can make like a smaller one for them where it's maybe like 4 mags or something in there then if that be the case or something. Or it's just like, maybe some empty mags or something like that you could reload then or something. Then just have some ammo in like another pouch or whatever then. So who knows? Personally, I'd say have mags ready, though, is what it is, though, because that's the thing, right? You don't really want to be loading mags in the middle of a firefight. You don't want to be the guy having to go like that real quick and put like, 8, 10 rounds in a fucking magazine and then, pop it in there and be like ding, 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 ding. And meanwhile, your fucking significant other, whoever it is there, is doing the same thing. And you're sort of like, back and forth trying to, spread your shots out and stuff like that. So, yeah, you're much better off having, like, some loaded mags that it does already do. But the entire point of the matter is it's like, yeah, that's the best way to do it right there is have, like, something like that. Or if you can have that chest rig that's slightly cheaper, whatever the case, that's still good quality and stuff, like, do that is what it is then. So, it's all up to you, man. It's all up to you what you want to do. But, yeah, there's multiple things you can do. You can do a chest rig, you can do a tactical backpack, you can do one of those bandolier belt things, whatever they call them. That used to be designed for, like, AK mags, but you can also redo them for AR mags and stuff like that too, for that matter. So I think it's like a belly band or something is what it's called, or something like that. There's a bunch of different names for it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I know Duke talked about it before, honestly, but yeah, the entire point is it's like you have good shit there is what it is, man. And you can do easily good things what it is then. So, but yeah, it's time to think about this stuff, man, because we are getting closer and closer every single day in this country to some kind of civil war popping off. And like I said, I believe truthfully we're already in a cold civil war right now. Like that, me with the whole thing with the Oliver parents there proves it to me. The only difference is it hasn't gone hot yet. You haven't had somebody go out there and kill anybody yet on either side of the aisle. Because I think truthfully, it would take like a Archduke Ferdinand kind of situation there that started World War One. It would be something like that starting an American Civil War, where it'd be like, some high leader guy, whatever the case be. If the Democrats try to assassinate Trump, or whatever the case be, would be the spark off, honestly, on that one, or so forth and so on. If Democrats assassinated one of their own, for that matter, and then try to blame the Republicans for the shit, or right wing for the stuff, or Trump supporters for that, or whatever the case be, again, that would spark off civil war going hot in this country. Is what it would be then. And then we'd have to deal with the X factors of civil war, which is all the Chinese foreign nationals coming in here as super cells. You have to deal with all the Islamic super cells here in this country as well, for that matter, and everybody else for that matter too, and all the Venezuelan gangs and the fucking MS-13 gangs and the various Mexican cartels and stuff like that are here already and stuff like that, dude. So yeah, it's a giant shit show is what it is, man. So speaking of which, I got to go make a deposit right now. I'm going to leave it at that, really. Don't really need to have everybody know that, but yeah, I got to go to the bathroom pretty bad is what it is. So I'm going to call it a day on that one then. Have a good one, y'all. I will be back later, probably tomorrow, for another Grandstand, I'm guessing. I know Honda didn't do his chat on Sunday. I think it was because he had like a strike or whatever on his channel, whatever the case be. I'm not sure if that's going to pop off tomorrow or not, or if I'll do 2A Taco Tuesday or not. Hopefully he does, honestly. But we'll be back at some point, though, in the future. I know Matt's doing his geek chat here in about 4 hours or so, give or take, 3 hours or so, give or take, whatever it is there. I think it's like 9 p.m. or whatever. It's almost 6 now, so I think he's going to be doing that in about 3 hours and change. That's what it'll be then. He actually put an interesting post on his Discord today, which was apparently, I guess today was the 2-year anniversary of sobriety for him, where he stopped drinking completely 2 years ago today. And good for him, man. It's been... There's actually AA chips out there for 2 years, obviously. Of course, he never joined AA, is my understanding, but he just stopped drinking, period, is what it was then. But yeah, if that be the case, you could go to Amazon right now and buy a 2-year AA chip, basically, is what it is then. So, anyway. But yeah, good for him, man. Good for him for realizing he had a problem there and, realizing that, yeah, you needed to sober up there is what it is and deal with your demons and stuff like that. And then he was able to get himself under control is what it is there. So good for him, honestly, on that one. I do commend him on that one. We'll give him a nice good job, buddy. So we believe in you, man. Keep it going. Keep it going for 3 years then. And 4 years and 5 years and so on. So anyway. Like I said, though, I will be back later. And my advice to everybody out there is always be carrying, because you never know if some piece of shit's going to create some fucking massacre in your town or your city or your state, wherever it is there. And you could easily be the person to stop it. So, yeah, be ready, be vigilant, be prepared for anything to pop off in this country, because everything's on the table this year is what it is, man. It's an election cycle. I don't put it past the Democrat Party to do anything that they can to maintain power in this country right now. So, yeah, be vigilant at all times and make sure to always be carrying. Have a good one, y'all. Later.